Back when I was in high school, me and my close friends, me and my closest compadres, me and my friend group, we all had a bit of a betting pool going on. And I would just like to state right here, right now, that yes, we do have dark senses of humor. We all have dark senses of humor, and we had especially dark senses of humor around this time. What kid didn't back in, 2018, 17, 16, etc. But I just would like to state that we did understand and still do understand the reality and the horror of mass casualty events, these events that are carried out with the explicit intent to harm individuals, potentially fatally. Most of the time, that is the intention, is to fatally harm them and kill them. And we understand that they're carried out by not good people, all right? Morally deranged individuals, these madmen with literally any type of weapon they can get their hands on. We understand the reality of these events, but just like that, we also understood that they could happen to literally anyone, and while they were, potentially they could have happened, there was very low probability that they would happen, or very low probability at least that they would happen in our vicinity, Like I said, we all had dark senses of humor, and this led to us effectively making a betting pool and a list of people who we thought were going to go crazy and one day try to blow us all to smithereens, if you understand my meaning. Because of this, we all had a little bit of money running on a couple of people here, and like I said, I just gotta hark on the point one last time. This will be the third and final time, I assure you. We were only half joking when we said this. It was sort of our way of pointing out the people that we thought were potential threats, so to speak, and finding ways that we could to distance ourselves. In a way, it was also a sort of like disaster preparation thing, I'd like to say, because there were a couple times it was getting a little hairy there towards senior year, if you understand my meaning, and I mean, it led to me deciding on plans on how I was going to get out of Dodge if I had to. That's a story for another time, though. Like I said, we were all betting effectively on who we thought was going to go crazy and bring their dad's gun to school, but because of this, I actually had to develop a bit of a point-based potential threat system that I would use to place down my bets. And keep in mind, I'm not joking here. Everything I tell you is true and honest, and I figure it would be a good video, or at least an entertaining one, or maybe an informative one if you would like to employ the same, threat detection levels that I did in your day-to-day life. So here it is, my point-based potential threat system. The first thing that you need to know is that this operates on 5 main things. This works on 5 main questions that you have to ask, and the higher the points they have, the more that they have, the closer you have to what I would call a potential threat. Not saying everyone who checks off these questions is going to do something like this, but I'm saying it was what we used to place down our bets, or at least I did. The first thing you need to know is, are they openly mentally ill? Now, this is a bit of a controversial one, I would say, because, there's a lot of people who like to hark on the stigma of being mentally ill in the United States, especially if you're in high school or, in school in general, a youth, so to speak. I just want to say I'm not trying to rag on the mentally ill, all right? Everyone is a little bit messed up in this day and age, but if they are openly mentally ill to the degree that it is like, keeping them out of school, or it is, becoming a hindrance in day-to-day life, and it's something that like is noticeable, if you understand my meaning, then that is definitely going to be a point against them in the PT system. I would say the second one that you would need to understand is, do they know how to take a joke? And this is really one of, how serious are they? Are they, looking for any chance to get a good laugh in? Are they, way too serious all the time? Do they like to get upset? Are they addicted to getting upset whenever possible? I'd say that this is one I don't really have to explain myself on too much, because, it's pretty much out there. It's very understandable. A lot of the people who, you see trying to go on some of these events, they like to think that they're, full of themselves. They are better than everybody else. And one of the things that comes with that is they want to act like hot shit anytime that they can. They like to be considered like, oh, you don't mess with me, bro, or else I might do something very wacky. This is the mentality that a lot of them employ. This is a mentality that a lot of the copycats employ. And it's one that I definitely believe is going to be present in past examples and future examples. So that is the second point against them. If they have that second point, that is not good for them, all right? Or maybe it's not good for you if you're in a close proximity with them. Either way, that was what was on the list for me. Then there was the third one was, do they get bitches? Now, here's the thing. This is coming from someone who did not and continues to not get bitches. Now, here's the thing. There is a main difference between me and these individuals. So the thing with me is that I don't chase after them, but the same thing also goes for these people who are not really getting around, so to speak, in their social circles. They don't chase after them either, but they feel entitled to some sort of, physical altercation with the opposite sex, if you understand my meaning. I'm, of course, talking about the involuntarily celibate, and I am talking about how they do feel as if they are owed something that they don't really have any guarantee to whenever it comes down to it. This is another thing I think deserves to be put on the list primarily because you see it more and more happening now and now. I remember a couple weeks ago, or maybe it was just earlier this week at the time I'm recording this, I'm not even certain, but they stopped someone who was posting under the name Oedipus on the incel.is forum, I believe it was, and this man, he was threatening to shoot up a sorority house because he could not get laid. But, the issue with a lot of incels and a lot of the involuntarily celibate is that they don't often try to get laid. This is something you saw happening with like Alec Manassian and Elliot Rodger. I won't go into that. Like I said, could be another video, or you could just go watch the overabundant wealth of videos on these topics. But that is something that was a mainstay on every revision that I had on the potential threat point-based system. Let's move on. Are they irrational? And whenever I say are they irrational, it's sort of an open-ended one. Really, you need to gauge where rationality lies. So whenever I said, this kind of feeds in with do they know how to take a joke? But there are rational and irrational responses to a joke that kind of toes the line or goes over the line, if you understand my meaning. Do they look for any reason that they could possibly find to get into a physical altercation? And I mean that in the aggressive sense. Do they find any reason possible to get mad at anybody? Are they addicted to getting mad at people? Do they do dumb things that they themselves cannot explain? Do they do things impulsively? There are a lot of things that go into the irrationality question, but these are all factors that you need to take into account if you think that one of these people might be facing one of these events or getting ready to plan one of these events. At least that was the way that I saw it whenever I was in school and I was trying to find out who I should stay away from. Either way, it's really up to you whenever you're trying to gauge the rationality of these individuals. Here is the final one, here is the biggest one, and here is one that I feel I am going to need to explain myself on. Do they fetishize firearms? Now, this is coming from someone who is a bit of a firearms enthusiast. I do enjoy the occasional boomstick, I've got a couple in my own possession, and, I enjoy them, all right? I play World of Guns a lot, or at least I used to. The first bout of unemployment I had from digging ditches. And, the big thing with it is that I just enjoy firearms history. And, I used to watch a lot of Ahoy videos or just keep them on in the background because I thought they were interesting. I play a lot of games. I play Fallout New Vegas. And one of the best things about Fallout New Vegas and even the other Fallout games, but more so with Fallout New Vegas, is just the gun customizability. There's so many different classes of them, but I'm getting a little bit off topic. All I'm trying to say here, without trying to cover my ass too much, is that there is a fine line between a firearms enthusiast and a firearms fetishist. And here is where I really bring it in. So, a firearms enthusiast thinks that guns are cool. They think that the gun themselves have cool history. They think that the inner mechanisms of them are cool, and so on and so forth. And the firearms fetishist thinks that they are the biggest, strongest guy in the room because they have a remote hole-poking device. I could best sum it up like this. I think that there is a hardline way that you can test whether or not someone is a firearms fetishist or a firearms enthusiast. And I think that test lies in trying to find out how much they know about legality or the functionality of firearms. Because someone who thinks that they are hot shit because they have a gun, when in truth all it really takes to have a gun is not having a felony or having enough money to be able to buy one, or money to buy the means to make one in the case of 3D printing in a parts kit or something. I digress. whenever it comes down to it, if they don't know about the laws regarding it, even down to like the basic stuff, and they think that it's like some forbidden knowledge to be able to have a gun, or if they don't know anything about the guns that they own specifically, how they work, any of the functionality it might have, if they don't know how to like clear out a jam on the rifle that they just got, I mean, they're probably one of those people who got it because they were overcompensating a little bit, which a lot of these, mass casualty people, they definitely are. I feel like I have explained myself well enough on that one. That is my 5-tier point-based system to gauge whether or not someone is a potential threat. All in all, no one did this at our school. No one went crazy, went off their rocker, and bought an M9 to the lunch line, if you understand my meaning. But we did have 1 or 2 people threatened to, and wouldn't you know it, I know of at least one of those people who was on the list of people that we were betting on, and I'm just telling you, the person who put his name down, well, he walked away $20 richer. Sad to say that because it was my $20. I was the only one who held up my end of the bargain, but you know how it is. He was on the list, and because of the guy who told us, we were able to adequately plan on how we were going to get out of Dodge whenever that happened, if it did happen. And yes, we did tell some of the teachers whenever we were asked about it. We got a little bit of weird looks up until he actually threatened it, but I digress. Well, that's it for this video. If you like this video, well, I upload daily. You can check some of those videos out. Why not give this video a like? Really helps out with the motivation and the algorithm. Why not subscribe if you'd like to? Like I said, daily uploads. If you want to check out my Twitter, it's twitter.com/Hale_Keezer. I've been Keezer. I've never been good at outros. I'll see you next time.